Good morning, Malcolm Nance.
Good morning, those dang Russians.
They've hacked you.
Listen, we just talked to Representative Adam Schiff, and it is astounding. Just this part of it, the Don Jr. testimony, the headline, Don Jr. can't remember anything about his father's involvement with Russia in Senate testimony. I mean, and this is the part the congressman talked about. Agalarov, called Trump at 4:04 to discuss the meeting. Then the president's son had a 4-minute call with someone who used a block number before calling the Russian singer at 4:31. A Senate investigator asked Trump Jr. whether his father used a block number. He said he didn't know. Malcolm, he didn't know.
Well, what can you expect? You know what? Ironically, I'm sitting here drinking out of a Spy Museum coffee mug that says "Deny Everything" on the front of it. And apparently, Donald Trump Jr. has decided that he's going to have a case of secession, and he's going to forget everything that's relevant. And that statement about whether he actually picked up the phone, called his father's block number, and passed on this information is going to be critical in this investigation to go to the intent of whether they were actually conspiring, even though just taking that meeting shows conspiracy.
Yeah. So what do you think of this new strategy, the highly competent Rudy Giuliani threatening Bob Mueller this morning? I mean, it is insane, right? This whole, it's time to wrap this up now, and basically threatening him.
Well, I missed that part about the threatening, but, the Benghazi investigation was 6 full-scale congressional investigations that went over 6 years, which ended up with Hillary Clinton having to sit down for 10 to 12 hours of nonstop interrogation publicly. And a year's good enough for these guys.
Yeah.
This may be the single most significant national security investigation in the history of the United States. It is quite possibly ready to blow Teapot Dome and Watergate out as the largest corruption investigation in the United States. And when you say, hey, it's time for you to stop looking into these things, and what you're trying to do is essentially another form of obstruction of justice. And I think the actions by Giuliani and Devin Nunes, at some point, we're going to have to see whether they were part of a criminal conspiracy.
Well, that's what we were saying, that sources on the Hill were saying last week, is that there is no way Devin Nunes is not a target in this. I mean, he absolutely is complicit, don't you think?
Well, he has some protections as a member of Congress, carrying out his role as the chairman of the House the House Intelligence Committee. So, yeah, he has some protection. However, we know nothing about what the Robert Mueller investigation knows. As Rachel Maddow says, anyone that tells you they know what's going on inside is a liar. They have enormous resources to collect information, whether it's through wiretaps, whether it's through FISA warrants and getting collection from other individuals. Like we said, we just figured out this Robert Cohen mess with what could potentially be called bribery. Mueller knew about this last November, had already carried out these interviews. So for the most part, I think we're just going to have to sit back and enjoy it. I'm having Schadenfreude delicious moments almost every day now.
Well,
and, it's not going to wrap up quick.
Yeah. Did you say it's not going to?
No, it's not going to wrap up quick. But that doesn't mean we're not going to have indictment after indictment after indictment come out. The indictments which have been presented thus far are the low-level building blocks which lead you up to, and I mentioned this last night on Lawrence O'Donnell, Mueller has 16 of the top financial crime investigators in America on his team. Every one of those investigators has an individual investigatory mandate that's under them, whether it's the tax returns, whether it's bribes with the Chinese, bribes with the Russians, bribes with the Saudis, whatever it is. I mean, there's a reason that they have 16 individual teams working this mission, because the scope of this is going to be ginormous. And so, it's not going to be a short investigation, but that doesn't mean that it won't roll up 20 or 30 indictments.
And Malcolm, and there's yet another part of the Steele dossier. that appears to be proving out, right? The whole that they don't mind about the focus on Russia to cover for all the the Chinese corruption that's going on and bribery, as you say.
Absolutely. And let me tell you something. As an intelligence professional, when I first read the Steele Dossier, David Corn had sort of tipped me off to it because he got it. And he asked me about what do you think about these sources and the way this guy collected his information and his analysis. And I thought it was intelligence community professional. I thought that information there looked solid and that this guy had a great depth of people who would talk to him, which we initially called rumor, right? Rumor intelligence.
Yeah.
Now it is turning out to be literally CIA top secret level quality information and you can understand why the FBI brought him on as an informant, because he has sources. And now we're going back and we're finding these links, whether it's to the Chinese, which they said that, in the dossier, they said the Russian related financial links are nothing compared to the Chinese.
Yeah.
Because the Chinese have understood straight bribery is the way that you deal with this guy. But now we're finding about a Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait. I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon. I mean,
it's like you've always told us, Malcolm. Like he should just admit to the hookers. That's the least of the stuff in the dossier.
The hookers.
Yeah.
I mean, the hookers are the least important thing that's going on in that dossier, and you would take a lot of heat off of that. But let me tell you, I really think that if Donald Trump remains in office, and I'm going to say exactly what I said to you guys, what I told to my publisher when I wrote Plot to Hack America. Win, lose, or draw, this story is going to go on for the better part of a decade. And now I really think the financial crimes component of this, the investigations into bribery, corruption. I was the first person in media to say that this was a RICO Act operation that we should be looking for. And now it's being borne out. But, I really didn't think that the Saudis would be neck deep in this, and the Qataris would be, would literally have Michael Cohen saying this money is going to be channeled to the Trump family. That could have been rhetoric and just bull. But you know what? I lived in the Middle East my entire career. I did intelligence operations there. That is par for the course. You can't get up in the morning without somebody either offering you a bribe or demanding a bribe from you. And other presidents would never have considered that. These guys figured out very early on.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was a player, and our money is good in his bank.
Well, I got to say, I agree with Michael Avenatti. I've been saying it, for I don't know how long now. He will not serve out his term. I think this is going to be too huge, and there's going to be too much evidence by the time Mueller's done, don't you think?
At first I kept thinking, man, Mueller, he's got a solid counterintelligence investigation here. This is going to get Americans who were, in communication, complicit with the Russians. But I really think now that we're finding out about the Cohen revelation, and we see that we are 8 months behind Mueller, maybe 10 months behind the Mueller investigation on that, I think he may just start banging people left and right on corruption, bribery, and real criminal charges, which will send people to jail for a very long time. And when he gets to that point, and I've never been a believer that Trump would ever resign until I started hearing this stuff about the Chinese and the Qataris.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
What do you think?
I absolutely have always said it. I think he will resign. But here's the other thing is, I just talked to Adam Schiff about Malcolm is, again, it looks so incredibly guilty that, of course, Devin Nunes actively did not want to see Don Jr.'s phone records. But I said, Bob Mueller has them, right? And he said, yes, very likely. Bob Mueller has,
He absolutely has them.
Yeah.
Look, this thing started as a counterintelligence investigation, hunting for spies. So everybody's phone records are getting rolled up. He knows where Donald Trump's phone records are. This is the easy stuff that the FBI does, which is to trace your cell towers, actually get the wire companies to give you the phone numbers. They know Donald Trump's campaign period blocked phone number. And that point right there, if it turns out he lied to the FBI and he did call his father, they already know it. And what they're doing is they're probably going to build a case to where they get him to pull the full Fredo and roll, or he's going to continue to lie, and they're going to have to, hit him with the Michael Flynn, lying to federal investigators and conspiracy against the United States. This is going to be a great summer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, even if Trump resigns, this story is going to be going into the courts for years. I mean, prosecutions and indictments, for the next part of a decade, I believe.
And by the way, this disgusting John McCain story, I mean, you can see, as we talked about the Steele dossier, why he brought it to Comey and why it was so credible. And as you tweeted, so Donald Trump goes full third world dictator, vows to find leakers who made him and the White House staff insult an American hero and lie about it. I mean, it seems like every story these days is connected to every other one, right?
Yeah, and remember when I taught you guys the word buggy, right?
Yeah,
when a
target's getting buggy.
And that's when a target doesn't understand how they're collecting the intelligence about him, and he starts killing his staff, right? Yeah. That's how third world dictators do it. Trump has taken step one. He's brought in counter signals people to go in there and find technical intelligence, just like people have planted bugs and illicit telephones around the White House to spy on his staff. That is insane. No one has done that. Counter communications, technical intelligence people are for Russian spy bugs that are planted in the White House. And he's trying to find telephones in people's purses. Like, people aren't going to leave the White House, walk up 16th Street, go to Adams Morgan, have a drink, and then spill their guts to the New York Times, right?
Yeah.
He thinks they're doing it real time with telephones. This guy doesn't understand how this stuff is coming out. He doesn't understand that people just hate him, and he believes that it's some giant spy ring. And now they've got Ezra Cohen Watnick, a teenager that worked from Flynn on the staff of Sessions, quite possibly advising them on how to spy on Americans.
Yeah.
This stuff is insane.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, you tweeted about this story about the White House ditching our cybersecurity expert. You say Moscow 1, America 0. I mean, we are so exhausted from the news cycles, Malcolm. But again, I said earlier today, job one is getting this traitor out of the Oval Office. I mean, there is no more important, this is our democracy, period, right?
Absolutely. Got to keep, we have a saying in the Navy, keep your eyes in the boat, right? That means just focus on your rowing. Just do what you got to do to keep moving forward. And, you can't be distracted by all the little things around you, but there are fundamental things that are fraying our democracy, that are literally tearing apart the fabric of the American experiment. And, Donald Trump is testing them all for his own personal edification. We were warned about this by John Adams. We were warned about this by Alexander Hamilton of what happens when a self-serving tyrant comes into office. We have to stick to America. I just finished this book, The Plot to Destroy Democracy, that's coming out in about 4 weeks. And, my last paragraph is a plea to everybody that reads to stop reading and start fighting to save this democracy.
Yep.
You can't be passive anymore. Mm-hmm. All right? And you can start, number one, by getting your mom and your sister to follow me on Twitter so that I can get 1 million followers, so I can stop these right-wing trolls that are attacking me and Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid and everybody else every day because they think we have no power. They think Milo Yiannopoulos has power because he has 1 million followers. Well, you know what? Bump up all your family and friends onto the people who are really trying to save this
country. Me, Malcolm Nance.
Like Stephanie Miller.
Yeah, Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid.
Yes.
Keep your eyes in the boat. Keep rowing. We're all in Malcolm Nance's Navy.
Be the coxswain.
Eyes in the boat.
Be that
Get
coxswain,
on the road.
Stephanie. The coxswain of justice.
Love you, Malcolm Nance.